In a village surrounded by mountains and wildflowers, there lived a girl named Mira. She was quiet, thoughtful, and often overlooked. While others raced to show their talents, singing, running, carving, painting, Mira kept to herself. She had no trophies on her shelf, no ribbons on her wall, and no one really expected her to do anything extraordinary. But Mira had something no one else could see. Every night, she would climb to the roof of her home and stare at the stars. She had memorized the constellations, learned the names of planets, and even made sketches of how the night sky changed with the seasons. Her dream was to become an astronomer, to build a telescope and discover something no one had ever seen before. She told a few people once, long ago. They had laughed. "You look at the stars. You can't even speak up in class. Stick to something simple." Their words stuck to her, heavy as stones. So she stopped sharing her dream and kept it locked inside. One spring morning, the village council announced a contest. Anyone could enter. The challenge was to build something useful for the village, something that could help others, show creativity, or solve a problem. The prize was a small scholarship to study in the city, a rare opportunity for someone from their quiet town. Mira hesitated. She had an idea, a plan she had sketched for months. A telescope built from simple materials, strong enough to see the craters of the moon and the bright belts of Jupiter. But doubt whispered louder than hope. What if it breaks? What if people laugh again? She nearly gave up. But one evening, as she stood on her roof watching a meteor shower, she whispered to the stars, "I want to try. Not to win. Just to believe in myself." The next day, Mira visited the library. She read every book she could find about lenses and light. She visited the old mechanic near the edge of the village and asked for spare parts. He looked surprised but handed her a box of glass and gears. "You're the first person to ask about this stuff in years," he said. At home, she turned her sketches into blueprints. She worked late into the night, soldering, adjusting, testing. There were failures. The lens fogged. The base tilted. The focus was blurry. But she kept going. Not for praise. For herself. When the contest day arrived, the village square was full of color and noise. Some had built tools for farming. Others presented art, sculptures, and clever gadgets. Mira stood at the edge with her telescope, quiet and nervous. When the judges passed by, they looked at her curiously. "What does it do?" "It helps you see what's far away," Mira said. "Planets. Stars. Possibilities." One judge leaned down and peered through the scope. Then gasped. "I can see Saturn's rings," he said. Another tried. Then another. Soon, a crowd gathered. "Where did you learn to build this?" Mira's voice trembled, but she answered, "I taught myself. I studied. I tried. I failed. Then I tried again." The judges whispered among themselves, then smiled. Later that evening, when the winners were announced, Mira's name was called. The crowd cheered. Not just for the telescope, but for the girl they had never really seen before. That night, she climbed to her roof again. This time, not to hide, but to celebrate. She looked up at the stars and whispered, "Thank you for waiting for me." Years later, Mira studied astronomy in the city. She built telescopes for schools and helped others find confidence in themselves. And whenever someone doubted their own worth, she told them her story. The lesson is this: believing in yourself is the first step toward doing what others say is impossible. You don't need the world to see your light before it shines. You just need to believe it's there and let it guide you forward.